What is up, everybody? How's it going? How's it going, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. Great Sunday. We're live. We're here. I hope my mic isn't too loud. Feel free to let me know if it is. Adjusting accordingly. So, this is what we got. This is our setup we got here. I spent about 3 hours setting this up. And if anybody's in the Discord not checking, you can go see what I did. About this little Walmart thing. Changed it to pretty much just put Fallout Podcast at 9 p.m. on it. Put my green screen up, use some scotch tape, and yeah, here we are. Here we are. So, today's topic, I will be I'm meeting people in the Discord as we go. Then everybody kind of speak and talk about it as well accordingly. Today's topic is what should Fallout add next, and what should the type of environment be? As in, like, should it be snow? Should it be water? We talked about a potential like sea environment, which was pretty, which I thought would be pretty cool. And yeah, what do you got? What do you guys think? I'm not sure if people in Discord can talk or not. Are you guys able to talk? I guess not. No problem. No problem. So, um, personally, I think the next environment should be I think a sea environment would be pretty cool, right? Like some type of underwater sea. We already have a diving suit. We could have more diving suit. Maybe some type of mod with power armor that makes you like speed boost through the water, if that makes sense. Yeah, I do agree. It would be sick. Dinosaurs. I don't know if dinosaurs would make much sense, guys, but that is an interesting opinion for sure. Welcome, by the way. Imagine like power armor with like jets on them, right? Like you can boost through the water and be able to not basically like swim whenever you want, but think about like your jetpack. You could have a jetpack through the water, is how it would work, right? And you know how in Atlantic City they have that underwater restaurant? I think you should be able to make bases like that. That would be pretty cool. Stuff like that. And I'm thinking. Definitely some type of like squid. Could you imagine like a mutated squid? That would be pretty crazy. No, it's the same one, Adam. Same one. Uh, we already have hermit crabs, but instead of like crabs, maybe we could have some type of like mutated, shark. Of course, that would be pretty cool. Imagine like a shark, like a megalodon-sized shark boss. That would be pretty crazy. And spear guns. We already have spear guns. Imagine if they would just make those do more damage in the water or something like that. Melee weapons. You probably could have like some type of case go around chainsaws or something like that to block the water from getting into the engine, so you could still use your melee weapons accordingly. Um, but this is just one of my ideas. If anybody else has any cool ideas they'd like to share, feel free. Feel free. Definitely talk about them. Um, yeah, water perks. Water perks. That would be pretty cool. Some type of perk that like makes you I don't want to say more water damage because you want to be still able to do, other things. Maybe a perk that increases like oh gosh, I'm thinking perk that maybe a increased swim speed perk. I mean, we already have an underwater breathing perk, which is doesn't really make sense. Because I feel like if we could have a mutation that makes you breathe underwater would be pretty cool. Be pretty cool. Yep, I do agree with that. That's a great idea for sure. Um, maybe let's talk about maybe get away from the water idea for a few. Maybe some type of hmm. I think snow would be cool. Imagine like yetis, like some type of mutated yetis or like wolves, even like even bigger than they are now. Like think like dire wolves from like Ark, like that kind of gigantic would be pretty cool. Like there's so many potential bosses they could be coming out with just all the kinds of monsters that we already have. Like I thought that I would you would thought that the grafted monster would have had like some type of boss by now because the Wendigo did. I mean, it would make sense to me if we had some type of huge giant like grafted monster or even like Mothman. Yeah, like a polar jaguar. That would be pretty cool. But we'd have to maybe get a little bit away from West Virginia because West Virginia doesn't have like polar bears. But maybe the gym or sorry, the zoo. They got out of the zoo, right? And they somehow, repopulated and now they're all over the place. They're all over the place. There you go. Instant, instant, instant idea right there. Zoos. The zoos could be potential mutations for all these and new environment slash habitats for other potential ideas in the game. Just the one zoo, and like you could have a quest line that like leads back to the zoo, right? Like you find the source of the monsters and like add more zoos. Is there any zoo locations in the game right now? I don't think there is. Yeah, and crocodiles. Like why don't we have crocodiles already? Is it because there's no crocodiles in West Virginia, I guess? I actually don't know if there is. Is there crocodiles in West Virginia? I don't think so. I don't think there is, but it's hard to tell because you'd think there's a huge river going through there, right? The Ohio River. Does that go through West Virginia? I'm pretty sure it does. Maybe we could have some type of thing like that. And you got to think like this is in the future. I mean, they could do whatever they want. Like they could be like, "Oh yeah, guys, there wasn't crocodiles at the time, but now there is crocodiles, and they're all over the place, swarming around." Hmm. Penguins, some type of mutated penguin, maybe even in the underwater zoo. Is there an underwater zoo? Where, like an aquarium or something? What if we have some type of aquarium we could do? And like I was saying earlier, like squid, it could be like kind of like Cthulhu kind of model, but not really. It'd be a little too crazy, but it could definitely be something like that. Like it mutated into a like there's octopuses and then there's squids. We definitely want more toward the squid side. But I think Cthulhu is more like octopus, right? Pretty sure he's more octopusy than he is than he is squid, but I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what I would think. But hmm, back to the underwater idea. Underwater bases, which should already be a thing. I feel like you should already be able to make underwater bases, but who knows? Maybe in the future they're going to change that. I would hope that they would change that with a new update soon to be, because I wish I could make an underwater base. That would be pretty awesome. Um, hmm. Yeah, if anybody else wants to talk or has any ideas, feel free. Definitely feel free. I think I can do this. Oh, here we go. Would anybody in Discord like to speak on their ideas? Bring up some ideas. Let me know in the chat and I can. There we go. All right, Memerman. This is Logan, guys. He's one of our viewers. He has some ideas he'd like to talk about here. Let's hear it.
My bad, I was having a problem with my microphone.
You're good.
So, you know how in the Elder Scrolls Online, another Bethesda, great. you can visit the other locations from the older games like Morrowind, Oblivion,
Mm-hmm.
and Skyrim. What if they added in Fallout 76 like an expedition, well, like more expeditions? They could go to the areas from the previous installments of games. Like you could go to DC, you could go to like Manhattan, you could go to New Vegas.
Like extended into other states.
Yes.
I pretty isn't that what the expeditions kind of is right now? I think that's Atlantic City and stuff. Is like it's definitely not West Virginia. It's is that Pennsylvania? Not sure. I mean, it's definitely not the Atlantic City all the way in like L.A., right? But that would be
Well,
pretty cool if like they could expand the map more toward other states for more monster ideas would make sense. But the skyline, I know the new update coming, that's still in West Virginia because I read the article. He was talking about how he went to Skyline, I think it was a base or something, and he was talking about how he went over there and looked at it to come up with the idea. But
yeah,
maybe
but
we
I
could,
think
yeah,
the like how Elder Scrolls has it. Again, I'm doing a lot of comparison here, but I think like how the Elder Scrolls has it that I can't remember if it's in the future or the past based from some of the games, but you get to see some of these areas in like a different time. And since Fallout 76 is the most early on compared to the other games,
yeah.
it might be cool to see the areas from the other games and expeditions or like areas like 28 years after the war
So like a
compared to the 200.
so you like time travel, or you mean like make the game into the future, like expand the
No,
game
I
into the
mean like
future?
no, I mean like since Fallout 76 is based much earlier than the other games, that those other areas would be, newer still.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be like 200, 180 years like before the actual games take place. So it'd be cool to see those games at the time of Fallout 76, like outside of their time
Oh, you
from
mean like Fallout
those
4
games. Yeah.
during Fallout
Yeah, like
76, like when it
yeah,
got
during Fallout
nuked?
76.
Well,
Yes.
I think it's still irradiated and everything, right? Is the whole
Yeah.
so there's
Some a lot of the areas are, yeah.
yeah. And the reason why West Virginia was like not as bad, it was still like livable, was because it never actually got hit with the nukes.
And the mountains, yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I
yeah,
guess that could be a
that
cool
could still be a cool
concept.
idea. I mean, even 100 years from now, what if you could be like a ghoul? Like, you know, since they're adding that in the update, what if since you're a ghoul now, you can go into the other states and other areas and
Yep.
kind of deal with the radiation and just like imagine like death claws in the early stages and stuff like that. Like,
Yep, exactly like that.
that'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty
Anyways,
cool.
that is gonna sign off my current idea that I have, and if anybody else would like to speak, I
No,
can
that's
step down
interesting.
now.
It's
Thank you for
interesting.
having me.
Even like PA, I'd sure like PA and like down toward like Virginia and Ohio could be a little
Oh yeah.
less, not as bombed and everything. But yeah, a very interesting idea. Because eventually they're gonna run out of like stuff. I mean, it's an MMO, so it's in New Jersey. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, if anybody else wants to join and has some ideas or anything, anybody can join the Discord and get involved. This is live on there, so if you guys want to join and talk about it, the Minutemen, I think that was a. I don't think the Minutemen were really organized and created until Fallout 4, like early on, and that's way in the future, like hundreds of years. So I'm not sure how they would go about adding that. Fallout set in a different country. Hmm. I'm not sure. That would be interesting though. Very interesting. Anyways, let's go back to the water idea again. Someone hasn't been invited to speak. Okay, okay. I'll get you in here. What's up,
Hey man, what's going
Aces?
on?
How's it going, man? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. This kind of question comes from just like after watching the Fallout TV show. I think
Yeah,
you've watched that, right?
yeah. I've watched it.
So, what do you think will come with the Brotherhood gaining cold fusion? Because I've been like asking that question a lot myself, and I haven't really like seen much videos asking about it or like going on about it. So, like, what do you think will come from it?
Oh gosh, I think it's going to lead to a lot of rebuilding of civilization, more technology. Wise, I think they are kind of control freaks, so it's hard to
Okay.
say in a way. Hopefully, and my hopefully is they get rid of the elders. They completely just go and assassinate them, kill them, get rid of them, and start
And
fresh.
maybe. I mean, I don't know. It seems like the Brotherhood we see in the Fallout TV show compared to like the Brotherhood from Fallout 4.
Yeah.
They seem like a lot more unorganized. But in like the Fallout TV show, you also see that the airship is the Pridwin, which, means that the Brotherhood ending, is the true ending of Fallout 4 canonically, at least what I think. So what happened to Elder Maxon exactly as well? Like
Hmm.
what's going on? Like the Brotherhood just there's a lot of changes that have like not been really explained in the Fallen TV show that I'm like trying to figure out.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Ooh,
it's hard to say with them too. I mean, they're definitely going to do something unpredictable. It's just how it is. But
I don't know if you guys knew this, but you know how the ship that you see in the Fallout show is called, like, it is obviously the Pridwin, but it is like titled as the Caswanon. The Caswanon is actually another name for Arthur's ship from the novel, the Pridwin.
Hmm.
So they
So
interesting.
maybe
just changed up the name a little bit.
maybe it's a sister ship then, because the Brotherhood did like canonically make a lot of ships
They did
before.
do that, yeah.
Well,
So I don't know.
those were
Sorry.
made even before the Brotherhood, right? I mean, those were.
I think so. I see some stuff that they were like used in the Battle of Anchorage, but I haven't really looked or haven't really like seen too much else about that.
I think a lot of the Brotherhood's like military, like what's the word? Like what we know about it. I think a lot of it is from Fallout Tactics, and they still
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Bethesda. I think still like to this day is like choosing what's canon and what's not, and so that's all convoluted. So I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Yeah, it's really hard to think they're going to do something random. It's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm just really like excited to see like in this because they've already greenlit the second season of the TV
mhm.
show. So like I'm really hoping they just elaborate more on like that cold fusion stuff.
So yeah, I think expanding on that cold fusion topic, this may be a little bit of a reach, but I think it might be a perfect opportunity for them to introduce the Enclave into the show.
Well, they already have.
Yeah.
Well, well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, they come in more,
Yeah, more so.
is what I'm saying.
Because yeah, they're the ones that created it. So that's.
But yeah, I mean, like, I think it's a perfect opportunity for them to show off like the XO2, the prototype power armors that the Enclave uses, and there might be some more Brotherhood and Enclave beef again.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I mean
hoping
that's definitely going to be a thing going on for sure.
like yeah, have you guys seen those animations on YouTube with like the Brotherhood fighting the NCR and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd love to see something like that in the Follow TV show with like all these like suits of Brotherhood of Steel, like kind of like what we saw in the TV show where like the Brotherhood and the NCR were fighting like the NCR remnants.
Right.
I'd love to see something like that, but like power armor to power armor clashing.
Yeah, I mean that could be. It could get a little crazy. I mean, I'd just like to see where it goes and who exactly wins in the long run because it's hard to say. I mean, I guess like the Minutemen aren't even in the show, right? This is even before Fallout 4 and all that
I mean,
crazy
the
stuff.
the show takes place in California, so if the Minutemen were able to expand all the way out to California, like in the stage it was in
Yeah.
Fallout 4. I don't know. That seemed like unrealistic to me in a
It,
sense.
is there a book on the show, or was it just like completely canon, like Logan said?
I think it's just complete canon. I don't think I haven't seen any books.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
haven't heard
sure.
anything about it. Like I didn't even know the vault existed. Like I never heard anything about a vault that eats human flesh or anything like that. I mean, the radiated one's definitely a familiar concept, but like irradiating their own people and stuff like that, experimenting on them.
Yeah,
But
I'm pretty sure that Todd Howard and a lot of the creators and writers at Bethesda actually helped write and create the show.
interesting.
With
I mean, that would make sense because I'd have to look more into that for sure.
I'm
But
actually quite happy with.
Excuse
Oh,
me.
my bad.
no, you're all good. But I will say this as a Brotherhood of Steel fan through and through. Like I'm just really excited to see like I don't know a whole Brotherhood of Steel base powered by cold fusion, a whole like Pridwin Mark II type thing, power armors like that look significantly like T65s. I don't know being used, etc. Like there's a lot of potential.
Right. I mean, what kind of weapons is it going to create too? I mean,
Oh, true. Yeah.
like the rebuilding part definitely will happen, and I feel like it's going to start kind of where the device was set up. Is the device able to be moved? Is it able to? Is the only able to build power related items around that area where the raiders were? Like what exactly is going to happen with that? It's just hard to say.
I mean, what I'm thinking is that they might, in a sense, now I wouldn't say rebuild Shady Sands, but like, you can see that they like the city is lit up, like it was connected to the power grid. So
Right.
they like the brother could try building like the new Shady Sands. They could just try turning it into like a major fort. Again, you could see like giant Pridwins be rolling out.
Oh yeah. And
There's,
I guess a lot of people have been actually saying that the Brotherhood is still is going to be the only canon ending, so that's most likely who's going to win, at least in the Fallout
That
show.
seems most likely.
Yeah, I mean, with them getting control of that, how could they mess up at this point? Unless some
I
vault
mean,
dweller sneaks
unless.
in and, you know,
as they
somehow
do,
I mean,
as they do,
somehow is literal like God and sneaks in and
as they
kills
do.
87 people with power armor and, you know.
so how do we feel about New Vegas at the end of the show?
Ooh, that's that opens a can of worms. Oh shit.
Hmm.
Because one of the theories that I've been seeing is that the tunneler threat, or whatever they're called, I don't, are they called the tunnelers?
Yeah, the tunnelers.
the
Yeah.
like the vault experiment things, like the green
Yes.
barrel
Yeah.
things or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the leading theories I've been seeing is that they may have finally taken over New Vegas, and that might be why it seems so desolate.
True.
And a lot of people are also saying that the Yes Man ending seems to be the canon for New Vegas as well.
So what I'm thinking, because I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of people question why he went to like the overseer went to New Vegas in the first place. I feel like the main directive behind that was to meet up with like House, because we see him talking with House, or I think I might be getting that mixed up. Was he the one that like was talking with us in that board meeting, or was that someone else?
I don't think he was actually in the board meeting. I think he was just an executive.
Okay, but still, I feel like to some connection he did know that House would be staged in New Vegas, and he had connections with Voltec, so that could be the driving factor behind that. But what comes from it shall be said or shall be seen.
Yeah, and I don't think we're ever going to know that for a long time, to be
Until the
honest.
next season. Yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be a while. So, but it is an interesting conversation.
yeah, definitely. Guys' opinion on the Institute.
The Institute. Mm,
Fallout 4, yeah.
yeah, I
Like
don't.
morality speaking, technology speaking, like
I mean, they're very.
just
I I think they were the
What's the word?
closest that anyone has come to like actually being able to restore the wasteland, but the whole since pretending to be humans
Yeah.
was
Well,
kind of dodgy.
yeah, I feel like you're just not gonna get very far with like I don't know. It's they seem more. I feel like it's gonna swing more toward like military power kind of side, which is what the synths. Like I remember there toward the end, you would find synths all over the place, like rampaging and looking for stuff because of father and all that. Or son, sorry, your son, because I feel like he was trying to turn it more toward like military power and just taking over like everything. And I
You
feel
think
like
it
that
was a
in the
good
long
idea?
run, it's just gonna like be negatively impacted. But I don't know. I like the Enclave personally. I think they were way ahead of like because I guess they had a bunch of scientists. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I I think the whole institute situation was a good idea in theory, but
Mm,
the way they were executing it and who it was being run by just made it go so poorly.
yeah, yeah.
And
That's how it usually goes with diplomatic power.
I think about like what you were saying with the Enclave, like in the Enclave, I think they were definitely ahead of the curve by far because they all like stake out on an oil rig where there's like no
Hmm.
radiation. They had everything planned out. They knew what they were gonna do with like the Gek and everything. But I think the way they were going about it suddenly, like in Fallout 3, way they were going to make it so anybody with traces of radiation was going to die.
Hmm.
I think that was a little bit overboard.
I mean, yeah, because a lot
But
of people are gonna, and you can never actually get rid of radiation like that. To me, that didn't.
yeah,
Scientifically, no half lives will yes, half lives take a while to do their thing. So
Yeah.
radiation's gonna be in the Fallout game for a minute.
Oh, for like pretty much ever. Oh my
Oh yeah,
gosh.
exactly. And seeing as the entire world has been like nuked over 50 times,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that come from it. Again, kind of going back on what you said earlier, where like death claws could see some like long term affections because they're not irradiated creatures; those are genetically modified.
Yeah. Before the war.
Yeah, exactly. They were supposed to be like they were just U.S. experiments that were planned on being like on the front lines essentially, but yeah, it just didn't get close enough before the bombs dropped, and they
Yeah.
got released somehow. Did anyone actually know like how they got as widespread as they did? Because you can see like labs in Fallout 76 have them.
Um.
You can see them on the West Coast, the East Coast. Like they're pretty much all over America. But like,
I mean, didn't they have a vault with just like talking death claws too?
yeah, I'm pretty sure in the
Like,
first
oh,
and
they had
second
some
Fallout,
crazy
yeah.
bolts. Yeah,
it's just some crazy things that are like completely not fully uncovered and like just all over the place.
Death
Like,
Claws have like their whole like ordeal going on.
yeah, yeah.
I think that brings up another good question. What is your personal favorite Volt? Like in experiment and everything, personal favorite Volt.
I like the plant one with the in Vault 70 or sorry, Fallout 76. Vault is that Vault 63? No, that's the new one. What's the one with
Yeah,
the plants? 50 something?
I'm not sure.
I'm trying
Favorite
to remember.
Excuse me. I gotta look this up. We're gonna look it up.
Like from what standpoint exactly? Like favorite in what way?
Oh, I just like it because it's an interesting concept. I'm very I like games like Last of Us, like kind of plants and fungus taking over creatures and like overtaking things. So that's why it's definitely my favorite Volt. I'm actually even working on an MMO game that has that kind of concept with the fungus taking the control of people's minds and animals, stuff like that. So it's always been one of my favorite
I'm
kind
looking
of
forward
like,
to that, by the way.
yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's an MMO game where it's in the medieval time. pretty much fungus. It's called mycelium. Like the roots of fungus take control of like people and creatures. And I've always just liked the idea of like plants and overrunning and taking control of the world and stuff like that. Which
You
fungus
said
is actually very scary and dangerous. Like there's even
you
like
said medieval times.
yeah, it'll be medieval related.
Yeah, that'd be that's a
Hmm.
really cool concept. I've never heard of like the fungus taking over in like medieval times in a game
Yeah,
before.
yeah. There'll be dragons completely overtaken by and covered in mushrooms and stuff like that too. I already have some
Oh,
art
that sounds
designs
sick.
for them. Yeah, yeah.
Kind of like the ant infectious
Yep.
disease where
That's
it
what
like
I was
takes
getting
over.
to. Yep. The well,
Well,
that it's a worm, right? I think it's a
I
worm.
don't think it is. I think it's just a fungus.
Yeah, you're right. There is a fungus that like takes over ants and like oh, what is that called?
I think it's like cordyceps. Yeah, cordyceps. That's
Yeah,
what
I
it
think
is.
it's just like one
Yeah.
within
Zombie ant
species.
fungus is what it's
Cordyceps.
called. It's literally what it's called. But like yeah, it's called phylum or phylum.
I forget.
I know you're right. Cordyceps. You're right. I see it. Zombie parasite cordyceps fungus. Oh my gosh. I mean, imagine if that was just a little bit bigger. I mean, we have some pretty strong immune systems, but
And then it would be The Last of Us.
yeah, it would
There was
be.
this one like video game cutscene, I think it was, where this like scientist is talking on a TV show. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it, but this like scientist is talking on a TV show with this host, right? And they go over like the cordyceps, I'm pretty sure. And the host was like jokingly saying, "Oh, but it could never infect humans, right?" But then the scientist goes to say, "No, as of right now, it couldn't. But if the world just suddenly started to heat up out of nowhere, and it started building an immunity to that, since our human immune systems are because the entire reason the cordyceps viruses can't infect us is because
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure our internal body temperatures are too hot for it to like exist. But if it like the environment were to heat up somehow, climate change, it could gain a stronger immunity to heat, and it could possibly go on to bigger and bigger creatures. So it is like it's not without like not entirely in the realm of possibility. Essentially, it could possibly happen.
Yeah, I mean, look how big the Squish Beast Queen is, and that was like not even 30 years later. I mean,
Something like that. But didn't Scorch Beast also come out of a lab?
oh yeah, I would think so. I
One sec.
I know the fissure sites is something like more crazy than what it is comes out to be. Like there must have been something going on under there. Because how would that even work? What was the fissure
Yeah,
sites even
pretty good.
supposed to be? Hmm.
So I think that also brings up another question as well. Since there were so many like enemies that were made in volts and like well not necessarily like volts, but there were experiments such as like super mutants, the Scorch Beast, Death Claws. What other enemies do you think they might introduce that were also experiments?
Um. I mean, the Enclave is here, and what? I'm having a brain fart. What was the enemies in Fallout 3 and also of 2 and 4? Right.
The centaurs?
Yeah, the centaurs. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. The centaurs. Like, where are they at? I mean, there has to be something going on with
That
them.
is actually an excellent question. I don't know what happened to them.
I mean, I know it was created through experience of like combining people and like,
Yeah, and like
but
you can hear them yelling and
yeah, they're
screaming throughout. It's like morbid.
yeah, it's one of the most crazy, disturbing things for sure.
Well, Bethesda has typically known to make smaller creatures like absurdly large and deadly. Like looking on like the Gulper, for example, the again, Scorch Beast was created out of a lab, so I don't want to say that necessarily, but Meyer Lurks, that's a great example of
Hmm.
like just prolonged radiation with smaller creatures. Like it just makes them monstrously enlarged and completely like alters their genetics.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think Another interesting thing would be, especially in Fallout 76, if they added more bosses based around like mutants. Like
Yeah,
how we
right.
have the Earl, like the Earl Williams kind of thing, like how he was experimented on and he got all mutated, like with that situation. Like bringing up like Frank Horrigan, for example. Like we have these mutants that are intelligent enough to like wear power armor, become generals, like be these like crazy minds in like the post-war. What if we had another situation like that where we had more mutated enemies that were able to do all these things and make another storyline in Fallout 76?
Well, I know the most super mutants are unintelligent because of like experimentation on
Brutes,
them.
yeah.
But what was the doctor, Doctor Sturgis, or I think it was.
The Institute Doctor.
Yeah,
So
and you in
the deal
Fallout
with
4 you find him and he's a mutant, and then you come back and he gets the cure, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Well, that's if you choose to give it to him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
deal with him though in lore was he was, studying FEV as the
Yeah. Yeah.
institute. So and he infected himself with a strain so he could break out of the institute. So since he was a research with like since he, God, since he did research in FEV, I imagine that he just gave himself a less aggressive strain
Mm-hmm.
in a sense that didn't alter the mind as much and more so altered like the body,
Right.
and that's why he was able to keep most of his mental functions. Because in Huntersville, with Green Tech, they put FEV into the water, and that made them aggressive at first, and then it made them into the super mutants we see. So I'm pretty sure he just gave himself like a less aggressive strain, and that's why he was able to cure himself, possibly.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, realistically, that could never happen because your body would be so like stretched out to the point of like that could never actually you could never return to like your original form like you did.
And
But
then he just casually gets his old institute clothing as well, just out of
yeah,
nowhere.
yeah. I mean, same size, everything. Yeah. But I'm just it's hard to say. I always forget about FEV. Like it never really crosses my mind. I'm so focused on the radiation part, but most of this stuff in Fallout was just like made before radiation and just during the everybody found like excuses during the nukes to do more experiments and be more crazy.
Also, another question: how is there so many super mutants? Because I know in like the first Fallout game, it goes over like how super mutants would bring um like scavengers and settlers to research facilities and dunk them in the FEV tanks. But besides that, we don't see any of those facilities in Fallout 4. But we see an abundance of super mutants, so many super mutant camps, buildings,
Hmm.
all over the place. So where did they come from exactly?
I think they just like smashed their heads against the walls to change it to the shape they wanted. Like it's pretty much the only thing I could think of. I mean, they have like superhuman strength, so and they can fight. They go to toe with like death claws. Technically, some can. So I mean,
I think what I kind of want to add on to what Klepticism said in the chat. Well, he said that it would be like it wouldn't happen in the lore, obviously, but how it would be a cool addition to have synths in like Fallout 76. How do you think that would play out?
I think it's way too early for that kind of technology. I mean, my goodness,
Or in the other games as well?
yeah.
Like, what if the synths reached out? Because there could, like, in theory, if there were some synths that were able to somehow break free or get out more into the wasteland, what if, in theory, there were still some out there? Like, if this were to happen, there were still synths out there by the end of Fallout 4.
Although I mean, it's technically on the side that you pick, so I mean,
I mean, in Fallout 3, we do see an escape sim that made his way all the way to Washington somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I
thinking
remember
that
that question. That was a weird one.
I don't like going in that aircraft carrier. It's impossible to navigate through that thing.
Hmm. Yeah, I haven't played in a while. Fallout 3. It's been about 8 years, so I kind of my memory of it kind of like vanishes a little bit with parts like that. I definitely should do the playthrough again so I can get a better
Nice.
understanding. But I know a
Yeah,
lot about the
definitely.
Fallout 4 and the definitely 76.
I'm also gonna throw this out there to people here and then people in the chat as well. What do you think, or where do you think the next Fallout game will take place?
New York would be
That
cool.
is a good question.
Because
New
I see a
York or
lot of
Texas would be interesting, but it would be like nothing. There would be nothing. Like, what would there be?
radiated horses and stuff, giant oil
why?
fields.
Why is there not radiated horses and stuff? They just kind of. I guess they didn't want to spend the time on all that design, but
Maybe.
like chickens even. Could you imagine a giant chicken? Dude, that'd be cool. I mean, what was up with the sloth? There's no sloths in West Virginia.
I'm pretty sure that's an experiment as well. In one of the Enclave research facilities, you
Yeah,
can see like mega sloths and test tubes, etc. So I'm pretty sure they are just experimenting on a bunch of stuff, and that's why we see a lot of like the weird creatures we do in '76 because like scorched beasts as mega sloths,
well, like beavers
wendigos.
too. They were experimenting on beavers like crazy, and there was never a giant beaver.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
So I think a lot of it just comes from the Enclave.
yeah, that makes sense.
I think this is like I think I want to rule out. Well, I think this might be just a head headcanon. I don't know if it's necessarily completely confirmed, but with like the idea of Fallout in other countries, I don't know if it would happen because Voltech, their whole like with the Fallout show, their whole thing was they are gonna beat other countries and they're gonna win out against the competition with time. So that's why they made Voltech because they decide to get ahead of the curve, make a ton of volts, run like get all these experiments going, get a ton of people to repopulate America. But the question is, do you think other countries also had the same idea with the volts?
Mm, it's
Hmm.
possible. I mean, Bethesda does make it pretty clear that they never intend to go like anywhere outside of America, or at least like in a game standpoint.
Yeah, I mean that
But
would be a lot of work.
it is
That's
kind of cool to think about.
it is kind of what I'm getting at too, because I don't know if it would be like just. I think they would make it that way. So that way it's not possible in other countries. But if you were to see in another country, what country would you like to see Fallout in the most?
China, China or Japan, some Asian country.
Well, those are kind of too small. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's
Yeah.
like Japan. I mean, Japan's actually huge, right? What am I thinking?
Well,
Moderately. Mm,
I think just the fact that it has so many islands is the reason why it's. I think it's more widespread than it is actually big.
Hmm. I don't know. I think Alaska, like someone was saying, Alaska would be cool because it's
Alaska would be a lot of
very
fun. Yeah.
that could be a cool water, uh, like water type of Fallout too.
or just even like a snowy Fallout would be like
Yeah,
really cool.
both.
Being like a
Oh, that'd be
literal
so
nuclear
cool.
winter.
Yeah, dude, nuclear winter. I love to see. It's one winter and the ocean. Those two. Like, why has there been like no ocean creatures? Like, rarely
But
any.
also kind of going back on like
Well,
seeing Fallout in like the rest of the world. Um, like what do you guys think happens to like the rest of the world in the Fallout series? Because we know Britain
Wiped out.
is kind of in shambles because I think it was a guy from Fallout 76 that came over to Britain,
Hmm.
or that came over to or it might have been Fallout 4, but someone from Britain comes over to America because the situation over there is apparently much worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Given like all the stuff that goes on in Fallout 4, we can only
Yeah.
imagine what it's like over there. But
Yeah, like we were way more coordinated and knew what was going on before it happened, basically. It feels like that's why we recovered a lot easier, and I bet other countries were probably completely wiped out. That's the whole reason why they didn't want to go into other places or just and want to just stay in America. But who knows? Who knows? All I know is I want an ocean Fallout next. I want jetpack mods where you can like little fans on your feet and they just spin you around and you can fly around in the ocean. That'd be.
hear me out. The next Fallout game in New Orleans,
What
like
about
irradiated, like alligators, like giant swamps with these big trees that have like this. You know, just thinking about it, it's kind
well,
of
I didn't even
amazing.
think about it. Hawaii. Hawaii
Ooh,
would
that's
be cool because it's just big enough and you could go into like imagine they had like underwater like bases all around Hawaii and you could be going like in and out. There's islands everywhere. Oh, that would be. You could take a boat. Imagine you could have like a boat base and you can move it around. Oh my gosh.
what kind of creatures would be in that though? Like, what kind of creatures are native to Hawaii that would
Coral
like just?
reefs. Could you imagine a mutated coral reef?
Ooh. Oh, do you guys know about the like Fallout 4 vault that was supposed to be like underwater? Like it could be something like that, no sense.
I don't actually.
It was essentially like scrapped from the game, but Fallout 4 was supposed to have this underwater vault that would take you through, and you're supposed to fight this like kraken essentially.
Ooh.
And some data miners got it out and were able to model it. But yeah, I'd recommend watching some videos about it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be. I have to check it out. What was it called?
Fallout 4 Underwater Vault. I forget the name of it, but I'm pretty sure Oxhorn has a video about it.
Yeah, I see it here. Vault 120.
Yeah.
It is in Atlantic coast of Massachusetts in the Commonwealth. Oh, that
Yeah.
does seem cool. There's like it looks like they were working on it. There's some very weird pictures of it and then they dropped the idea.
I'm pretty sure they dropped it because it would just be a weird boss to fight, essentially. Like, it'd be the biggest boss in the game. And I think in Fallout 4, they initially wanted to have, like, these giant bosses
Well,
because
I want a
they want to have,
phase
like,
boss, you know? I want a boss with phases. That's what we
I'm pretty sure
need.
that's what they're doing in the new Fallout 76 up the Skyline Valley. I'm pretty sure the new
Yeah.
boss is going to have some phases to it.
That's what we need. It's the robots, right? I
Yeah.
already I was trying to figure out when it was coming out and I was like and then I seen something about robots. There's like 3 new robot mobs or something. Spoilers. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I don't know.
Giant crabs. I'm pretty sure Mirelurks are giant crabs and like Mirelurk queens and whatnot.
Um
Or
wait, what are mirelurks? Are they crabs or are they like they're like crawdads. They're not like crabs.
coconut crabs. Oh, that'd be funny as.
Well, I don't think
Imagine.
I think mirelurks are like lobsters or something. I don't think they're crabs technically because crabs, yeah, they're not crabs because they have the tails. Crabs don't have tails. They don't have that floppy little tail going on.
I'm pretty sure there is a variant of Mirelurk that does have tails, so it's like Mirelurk King or something like that.
What is the mirelurk king? What is that?
So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't know, but no. What's it called? Someone said coconut crabs. Imagine like
Yeah.
what you were saying with like Fallout Hawaii, for example.
Yeah,
Like
man, that
these
would be so
giant
cool.
like mutated crabs falling from trees onto the player and stuff.
Well, all those like the entire coral reef gets irradiated, just like one, and it could like overtake the rest of the ocean easily. Like that'd be so cool if we have a giant coral reef environment that is completely irradiated. We have like clownfish that are all like green and messed up. They're still clownfish. They just kind of fly, like swim around and
Yeah,
make jokes, haha. But
that would be pretty cool. Yeah,
like it,
like
yeah,
a
yeah,
floating city of like settlers on like those like floating houses, like a bunch of them just scuttled together
Yeah.
and like makes a settlement or something like that. That'd be cool.
And a dolphin that you can like not maybe tame as a pet and like ride and get around.
Well,
Hmm.
Mylark hunters are what I was thinking of, and those are apparently crawfish. Okay, got you.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Crawfish. I wanted to say crawdads because that's what we call them, but they're crawfish. Yeah,
Oh, you're from the south. I
They're
got you.
tier 2.
yeah, I am. Crawdads.
I'm a Yankee. I'm in New York.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm from the Midwest, so
mm,
All different parts of the country. I get it. So we all get like different standpoints of like Fallout and whatnot.
right.
well,
By the way,
okay.
if
Well,
anybody
I live
else wants to, feel free to type in chat and request to join. If you want to join in the conversation, we'd love to hear ideas. Personally,
I live in Kansas, so
oh,
this
okay.
state is relatively boring, I'd say. But
Also, we have only like the only flying, um, the only flying, monster we have really is a scorched beast. Why don't we have birds or vultures? Like, you're telling me they weren't experimented, they just experimented on bats just because of the sonic ability, I guess? I don't know. But
Maybe.
what other like crazy, like dolphins would be probably insane. Could you imagine like they're the scorched beasts of the ocean
That'd be
world?
actually in Fallout 4 we do see like dead or radiated dolphins on the shore. Like depending on some beaches you go to, you will find like dolphin corpses, and they have
Hmm.
like giant teeth and whatnot. Like they've
Oh
evolved.
yeah. That's true.
what
That's
about like
true.
irradiated whales?
Dude, those would
They'll
be
do like
broken.
those.
There's no. I was just thinking if they were like irradiated, could you imagine? Like the audio from them would blow everything away. Like if they were like,
Oh, dude! Instead of like the cool like kind of calming sounds that they have now, like imagine like
yeah,
Subnautica level Leviathan roars
Yeah,
coming from
like
them.
it's like
like you can hear a
horrifying,
well like
screeching.
thousands of miles away, and if you're right next to one, your eardrums are shot. Like
Yeah.
if they do that noise, like you cannot hear. You probably perish. Actually, I don't know, but oh, here we go. We got somebody wanting to join. Welcome, welcome. Yeah,
Okay.
like the
So
wells would be dangerous, crazy dangerous.
Yeah.
so we were talking about Mirelurks earlier and like
Mm.
their designs and what they could be based off of. But speaking on designs, how do you feel about the design changes from Fallout 3 New Vegas to 4 and 76? And if so, what are your favorites and what do you hate the most?
What was that? You said the hate the
Um,
most about Fallout 4 and Fallout 76?
like, what do you hate about the changes from designs from Fallout 3 New Vegas, or what do you like? Like, what specific designs do you like? Like how Protectrons changed, how Death Claws look a little different. Like, how do you feel about all of those?
One of my favorite things that changed from New Vegas and 3 to like 4 and 76 is the way that power armor works, without a doubt.
Oh
Because
yeah,
with the power armor frames and whatnot, at least in Fallout 4, it makes you feel like more of a literal tank than
Hmm.
anything else, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm not
yeah, I agree.
sure. I'm not sure. That's a pretty in-depth conversation. I think we should add that for the future podcast.
Have like an entire podcast just dedicated to that
Yeah,
question.
because that's a pretty in-depth like whole conversation kind of thing.
Yeah,
I
that
feel like
is
that's
fair.
a little too off topic, but it is interesting. But I don't know. I like the death claws. Like they're definitely one of my favorite. And apparently there was a story about a flying death claw someone was mentioning. And could you imagine that? That thing would be
God. Deathclaws off the bat kind of like scare me. At least in Fallout 4, they scare me enough. But flying
well,
Deathclaws,
Fallout
like you're
3
a
was
flying
they were the
spider.
worst in Fallout 3. Or no, New Vegas. Sorry, New Vegas.
Oh god,
Wasn't
bro,
that where the
traveling.
nest was? The canyon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Deathclaw Valley. Yeah,
Deathclaw Valley.
traveling from Good Springs through Deathclaw Valley is like genuinely like a horror game as is.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
yeah.
just walking, minding your own business, this, and then you see an albino deathclaw chasing you from like half a mile away. You're like, oh, what's that? You go into VATS and you see albino deathclaw.
Oh
You just know your time's up.
Oh my god, the
my
one
gosh.
thing is the death claws in 76 are like track sprinters, I swear.
Yeah, they
Like
are quicker in 76 for sure.
they sprint in 70 in Fallout 4 and 76 they kind they're fast, but
Yeah.
you can kind of maneuver it in a sense. But 76 or what's called 3 in New Vegas, like you just hear footsteps behind you and that thing's already in your face practically.
Yeah. And I feel like they more like did more they had more jeez, I'm stuttering. They had more like emote stuff going on in Fallout 4 and 3 and even New Vegas with Death Claws. And now they just don't even they just like chase you. They don't stop to like roar, like, blow you a kiss, etc. They just literally just run at you and don't stop.
Also, the death claws in for the new 76, they just have like a lot more attacks. Like they'll kick up
Oh
dirt
yeah.
on you and whatnot. They'll punch you. They'll jump at you.
Pick
They
you
just
up
have a
and
lot
yell
more.
at you and then throw you.
Yeah, exactly. Or like they'll grab you. At least in Fallout 4, they'll like pick you up and whatnot
Yeah.
to throw you to the ground.
Yeah.
I remember when I played Fallout 4 for the first time, after playing, I think it was Fallout 3, or I might have just like started or got like halfway through a run on Fallout New Vegas. And the first time I loaded up Fallout 4, I remember I got in the power armor and I saw the Deathclaw and I was like, oh, okay. And then it started doing all these attacks I didn't know and I was terrified the first time.
Yeah, dude. They used to be so scary. They're not really well, I guess 76 has a very end game kind of thing, so nothing's really scary in the end game, but even at low levels, they're easier to handle in 76 for sure. Because if you encounter one at low level and it's Fallout 4, like you're screwed. There's nothing you
Oh
can
yeah.
do.
I actually just started a new like character on my Xbox and went straight to start the like Enclave missile silo mission, going to the cave with the death claws in it. Like a level 25, 30 maybe. Not even like good perks, nothing really built. Was able to take out the death claws no problem. So
Hmm.
they're definitely much weaker.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
much
definitely.
much
And they don't
weaker.
pick you up in 76 as well. 76 is more of like a fast-paced game, in
Mm,
my opinion.
yes.
Like, you're spamming fast travel a lot more than you would in like Fallout 4 or um
Well,
it's
dying
just
and not losing any progress is a huge thing.
oh, definitely, yeah. So just the gameplay is a much more different.
Yeah, for sure. But I like it. I like online games. Definitely 76 is my all-time favorite and will always be. But
What's your build? Your preferred build?
oh, you don't watch my streams, do you?
No, I just saw you in my TikTok feed and I clicked on
Ah,
it in Discord.
you've been missing out. I run bloodied stealth bats commando build.
Damn.
Yeah, best build in the game. I'm telling you, there's no beating it. It's just the railway has too many. It's just too good at everything. Overall, it's too perfect of a weapon. It's definitely getting nerfed with the new update for sure. There's no way they're keeping it how it is now.
I just
The
got 76 on Steam. So I've been grinding that out for like the last 2 weeks, and I made it up to like level 90 in 2 weeks. But
Wow.
I've been just doing a power armor heavy build. And as soon as I finish up the Wastelanders quest line, I got Plasma Caster.
Yeah, the heavy gun power armor build's good early, very good early build, but late game it's
I
not
mean,
very good.
Fair enough.
I was thinking about doing like the bloody stealth bats commando build like you,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I think I just like the whole aspect of getting in your power armor, getting on this like massive gun that like explodes things, and you're going around absolutely wreaking havoc. But and it feels like you have a lot more interaction with like some like lower level builds compared to like the overpowered ones like bloodied.
Yeah,
Like it feels like you're actually in the fight. It feels like you're doing all this and on the other hand, like with bloody. It's very good, but you don't feel like you're like actually in the firefight. You just do VATS, you get a few headshots, and you kill that enemy. I don't know. Personally, I don't know how I feel about the build, but I'm thinking about trying it out.
It's a very late game build. It's very hard to run. It's very RNG. It takes a lot of RNG pieces slash role pieces to come together with it. So that's one
So
thing
like
that's kind of
getting
annoying about it. And being
unyielding
squishy.
armor.
Yeah. Like you want the unyielding for damage and you lose all tankiness pretty much. But running the Secret Service armor helps that a little bit. Instead of getting one shot, you're getting two shots. So, you know, I think it's a great quest running build too. I mean, you're gonna watch. I'm gonna finish all those quests in like no time because I'm just aimbotting everything from halfway across the map, just sprinting. So, you know, I might take my time though. I want to, like Wednesday I'm gonna be streaming a long, long time. The moment it comes out, I'm gonna be streaming an hour early and streaming it all night, and we're gonna see how far we get. But I'm gonna take my time with the story so everybody can watch and enjoy, and myself instead of rush through it like I always do most of the time with games. I
Fair
think.
enough. Yeah, I don't have work on Wednesday, so I'm gonna be absolutely no lighting 76 with that new update. And there's gonna be so many people nuking it as well.
Oh yeah.
Like there's gonna be a nuke going off every 30 minutes probably.
Can you nuke with the old silos?
What do you mean?
Are you able to nuke that area with an old silo like Silo Charlie, Alpha, and Beta Bravo?
I'd imagine you would be able to, yeah.
See now that I feel like that's going to be weird because people are just going to immediately do that, and I don't know. I feel like there should be like a wait timer on it
Yeah, I feel like
because
they'll open
it's
something
gonna
up
screw up
pretty
people
quickly.
questing too if some random guy's being like, "Oh, I'm gonna nuke this place," and screw you over, you know.
Yeah, I was playing on the playtesting Steam version, and I haven't seen any like nuke silos, and I've like explored the entire thing almost.
Mm.
So I think it's just gonna be just casual Fallout boss nuking type thing. Just go into side alpha, go defeat the boss. It's like the area, and then nuke it.
Yeah, I'm hoping they have nukes disabled just for a little bit. It
Or
would,
even just like cooldowns, like just server
yeah,
cooldowns.
maybe like one nuke. Unlodged nukes should be disabled at least for a couple hours because there's too many trolls. I mean, not too many, like 1%, but still, the 1% is enough to widespread.
Definitely,
So
because the entire thing behind like nukes and Fallout 76 originally is that was supposed to be like this like really hard thing where you and like a group of people go out, find scorched comms officers, and eventually get all the pieces for a site essentially. But now we just do a site, get a nuclear key card, and go to your browser and look up what the nuke codes are for the week. So now it's like 10
Hmm.
times easier to actually like
Well,
launch.
that was like so. I didn't like that actually. The ghoul
Yeah, I don't.
stuff, having to find the ghouls. I didn't like that part. It
It's a lot
was,
more tasking, but I can see why they did it because this
yeah.
like the end game boss. It should be pretty hard, even though it's like very like task oriented to go out of your way to venture the entire map and find
It was
ghouls.
just too many. I think it should have been like only like one or like one would drop the code or like two or something like that instead of like eight. And it would be for three different ones. It could like you could never find them, but I don't
so
know.
I hate to be slinging around the topic here so much, but um, how long have you been playing Fallout 76 for, Celeste?
Since release,
Since release. So, what do you think about the state of the game since release and like the updates up until now,
they should have done more.
like coming up to this one?
They should be ahead, way ahead, but the game died. That's why they stopped messing with it. They were worried that they didn't have the time to worry about it because they didn't have the they didn't have the numbers, so they weren't updating it as much as they were probably hoping to. So that's why there's not as much content, and they focus on other games. But I think
Also,
now with the Fallout show, it's changed that a lot. And Skyline Valley, apparently they made this in 6 months. In December, they decided to do the idea, is what I was reading on the forum. He went to Skyline Resort, I think it was. I think it was a resort. It's something in West Virginia. It's called Skyline Resort or like
I think it's a
something.
mansion in the Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. And like in 6 months they did this. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Not bad at all. But yeah, they should have more content. Hopefully with them, hopefully people will keep the game active and we can keep getting more content and going other places.
When
Oh,
when when the game released, wasn't it like extremely buggy?
oh yeah.
Well, that's because they had the server pop too high. It was 128 per
And
server.
also, I'm pretty sure they were like quota rushed too. I'm pretty sure they were meant to release the game like a few months later than they actually did. So that might be a timeline
It
there too.
released what, January 2018, February
I think it
2018.
was, yeah, something like that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it
pre-ordered
wouldn't
it.
make
So,
much sense for there to be a Fallout game release that like wasn't rushed and wasn't buggy. Like Fallout New Vegas,
oh yeah, it's
Fallout
just every
4, I'm pretty
time.
sure had its fair share. Fallout 76 was like a prime example. But like every Fallout game, like canonically as of right now, has like had its like good bit of bugs at launch.
Yeah,
Pretty
because
much
I
every Bethesda
remember
game.
I bought the game. Well, I didn't buy it on release, but I bought it a little bit after it came out, like a few weeks, maybe like a month after it came out for the Xbox, and I had all the other games on disc. And I bought it to finish my collection, but I didn't play the game for the longest time because I heard the horror stories of how buggy it was at the time.
Oh, it
And
was
I just
pretty
said,
rough.
Mm.
I do not want to touch that game.
I the only bugs I encountered was like server disconnecting and not having stuff in the world because there were so many people in one world. So you would struggle to find items, specific things. Um, Events was the main thing too. Like I don't know. I don't think you used to be able to fast travel to events, but I can't quite remember. From what I remember, I was questing and I would encounter events while I was questing, but I don't think you used to be able to fast travel, if I remember correctly. So you could only go to events if you knew the area or you were already in the area. But again, I can't
Also,
quite remember.
another thing, Fallout 76 at launch was just kind of like, at least in my opinion, there was just nothing going on. It was just really boring because you
Yeah.
only had like the main quest line, and yeah, it had its fair share of side quests that you could do as well. But until Wastelanders came out, which gave it essentially everyone there, it just felt barren. Like there was like no humans. Essentially, everyone was dead.
Yeah, that was another thing. I forgot all about that. Yeah, not having humans was a terrible idea.
I think that
I
was just.
remember, yeah,
Mhm. Sorry.
I remember that that was a terrible problem that people hated.
Yeah.
Like when the game came out, there's like, oh, there's like no NPCs. It's like hardly even a Fallout game.
Well, it's because it didn't have the attention grabbing and it got boring quick because the only interaction you had was with other players and
Or like
you weren't
automated
literally
mission.
hooked in with the campaign or more so the, storyline because there was no storyline. You were trying to find this woman that didn't exist, the overseer, and you were just following their tracks or whatever. And then apparently the whole thing was like, oh, she went to like Atlantic City or whatever, blah blah blah. But then they completely reread everything. So
But
I'm glad they
y-
did that.
at launch, it kind of goes back to what like you were saying initially. I'm pretty sure the reason that they did that was because the game was like rushed essentially,
yeah,
and they just to make ends meet, and so they wouldn't have like major plot holes or just so the game wouldn't like be finished essentially. Yeah, they just released it so there was nobody there, and that like really like that mix was like the bugs at launch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was actually a guy on YouTube that made like a 3 hour long video of every single bug at 76 at launch. And yeah, that mixed with just there being no one there just kind of ruined the game.
Yeah, I
yeah. I
think
mean,
with the whole rush thing. The I remember when Fallout 4 came out, a lot of people didn't like it. Like so many like diehard like Fallout New Vegas fans especially didn't enjoy Fallout 4, and I don't even know why. I really enjoy the game, but
That's
I
how it
remember it
always
was
is.
like yeah, I remember a lot of people didn't like the game, so I think they were just trying to push out a game at that point to try and get more engagement, and they just tried to push it out too quick, and they were on too much of a time crunch. They should have waited just like a few more months at least.
Also working on like a completely like modified game engine because they're working on the same Fallout 4 engine, but they had to hire like a completely different like ZeniMax side company to completely alter the game engine so it could handle multiplayer, which was a
And
complete pain on its own.
and I'm pretty sure they're making a whole new game engine right now for Elder Scrolls 6.
They better be
I'm
making
pretty
one
sure they've been working on
Fallout
that for
as well.
quite a few years.
It's hard to say. I mean, it's so hard to make a new game engine.
I
I
mean,
think they should
yeah.
just use Unreal Engine personally, but I don't
But
know.
when you make a new game engine, you can do some crazy stuff with it.
Well, you can just adjust it accordingly. But I mean, I don't. I use Unreal Engine, and I can pretty much do anything I want as long as I understand what I'm looking at and what exactly I'm wanting down to the T. But I don't know. It's
I think I think their game engine is just horrible right now anyway.
yeah, it is.
Cause I remember. So have you ever heard of the Skyrim Together mod? It's like the
Right.
Skyrim multiplayer mod. Alright, they tried to make that same mod for Fallout 4, but the game's engine, like the whole engine entirely, is so bad for coding multiplayer with other people
Yeah.
that the whole like when they made Fallout 76, it's still shoddy. That's why they're not like adding cross-platform. I think that's one of the reasons anyway so far. But like it was so bad that they had to completely discontinue the Fallout 4 Together mod because the creator of the mod said that they would have to go into Microsoft C++ and change like almost every single each individual piece of coding like ones and zeros, and it would take months of time, like hours and months of time.
I mean, yeah, changing a single player game to multiplayer is very difficult, especially if you already coded everything to be
Single
single
player,
player.
yeah, because it works on the functionality of a single person. You know, the environment being single person. Yeah.
Yeah, but also the fact that they have experience in this whole thing, like with the Skyrim together. Like I mean, I guess because it's an older engine, it'd probably be a bit easier. But like with Skyrim, it's not that difficult because the game's engine could actually allow it. But the way they made Fallout 4's engine, it was just terrible for it.
I think 76 was actually, at least now, it runs really good. I think they have a really good, very unique multiplayer first person shooter MMO engine going on. Uh, it'd just be nice if they could just keep updating the game through 76. I think that would be cool.
I
Like it,
think they definitely plan to with Fallout.
yeah.
The Fallout TV show gaining as much popularity as it did,
Mm.
and Skyline Valley gaining as much popularity as it is as of right now.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm excited.
But another example of Bethesda using game engines is I hate to kind of sidetrack from the Fallout discussion, but Starfield,
Mm.
prime example.
I actually have not played that game yet. How is it?
10 hours.
Yeah, I haven't played it either, but I've heard it's not very good.
The gameplay itself, in my opinion, is like at least the story itself is pretty good, but a large portion of it is like the devs wanting you to travel out to planets, land on them, and set up bases and whatnot. But it's just kind of boring, essentially. And the
Yeah.
amount of load screens as well is torturous. because there's a load screen when you're getting in game, and then
Instances,
you're in
man.
space floating around. Oh, you gotta go inside the planet.
Yep.
Oh, then you touch down on the planet. There's 2 load screens, and then you gotta get out of your ship. So
That's the problem with making a huge game like that, like a planet-based game. But No Man's Sky,
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
how they did it. Their engine, especially now, the devs that took over, it's an amazing game. It runs very well, and the instance loading they did, it just, I don't know how they did it. It's insane.
very similar to like Fallout 76 at launch. Like at launch, both games were like very, um, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Hated. I'm just gonna say that. It's a bit of an
Yeah.
understatement, but both games are generally hated at launch. But the devs put a lot of effort and time into it, fixing the game, adding updates, content, and now they are what they are today. Like these great games.
Yeah, I mean, No Man's Sky was terrible because, the guy left and took the money and went to the Bahamas or whatever, somewhere. And it was because it wasn't running properly. And they didn't have an MMO aspect, but now they do, which is really cool. I actually might plan on playing that game on stream. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you be
that
down to
happens
play
a
that
lot.
multiplayer?
It is multiplayer, yeah.
Yeah, would you be down to play it with like viewers?
Yeah, of course. I'm always down, man.
I might have to get in that then.
But yeah, back to Hawaii. I think Hawaii is a great place. I think that would be actually sick. Like,
I feel like good too. Like Hawaii or New Orleans, in my opinion, is like 2 great candidates.
oh yeah, yeah, or like Oh wait, Massachusetts. Isn't that I think that is Fallout 4. Wait, no.
Is Boston in that? I think it is. Yeah, no, Boston.
Yeah, it is.
I
Yeah.
like. I live in New York. I should know this. Lord.
Right. No, I have a brain fart sometimes too.
But unfortunately, I gotta go, guys. It was great talking to you both. Hope we can have more discussions like this in the future. But I
Every
wish you
Sunday.
all good night.
See you Sunday.
Peace out, man.
Adios.
Peace out.
But yeah, I think the coral reef would be cool. A radiated coral reef. Having a boat where you can go to the different islands, a boat base. You can adjust the boat accordingly. Think like Assassin's Creed with the kind of thing where you can have a boat base, you could adjust it, and you could see other players' boats and like maybe not ram each other, but I'm not sure. That would be interesting. There'd be some crazy. I'm not sure how they would do the PvP. It would be it'd be pretty sick.
Turn into World of Warships.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but that would be actually so sick. Fallout 76, a radiation world with boats and stuff like that. And like, yeah, someone in chat just mentioned a nuclear volcano. That would be sick. Imagine a volcano that's like been nuked. Oh, dude, the lava. There could be an entire like lava environment. I didn't even think about that.
Imagine if the nukes made Mount Everest go off again.
Hmm.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know. I didn't even think about Mount Everest. That could be a whole. Hmm. But that's different place. So
It's a little different.
that's a little far away. But anyways,
way over the water.
Yeah, I think Hawaii would be a great candidate for sure.
Yeah, tropical kind of climate.
Because you still got the
not so
land.
tropical anymore.
I'm thinking like of other animals that are in Hawaii that are land based. Because I already have my ocean plans: sharks, squid, octopus, all the fishies. Like oh man, could you imagine like a sawhead or saw shark? What are they called? Sawhead sharks? I forget the ones with the. What are those called? Saw sharks? What? They have an actual name, but I can't think. They got a little saw head. Oh my gosh, what are those called?
Hammerhead shark?
No, not the hammerhead.
And not the hammerhead.
Shoot, I gotta look this up.
Swordfish?
I'm thinking swordfish. I think shark with blade nose. Ah, it's a long nose saw shark. That's what they're called.
Well, you almost had it on the nail.
Apparently, they're not. They were like enough. Never mind. This is like prehistoric things. Apparently. Oh, where have I seen these before? Yeah, there's like a sawfish or something, right? Yeah, a sawfish. Yeah. Those are radiated. That would be sick. That would be sick. And imagine, right there's a melee weapon right there.
Yeah.
A freaking sawfish sword. It'd be like huge too. You could use it like a great sword. It would be a two-handed weapon. Oh man, that would be sick.
Wait,
And dual wielding, I think would be a great thing they should add to the game. Being able to dual wield like machetes and stuff like that. I don't know why that's not already a thing, but that would be sick. Yeah, iguanas too. Radiated iguanas. Wasn't there like some type of radiated iguana, if I remember correctly? What's the what are they? Because I remember there was something that they were trying to make that could camouflage. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? What was that in? All out chameleon. Oh, there's a chameleon deathclaw. Is that what it was? Yeah, I know the iguanas are made, or sorry, I know deathclaws are made out of like iguanas as well, like all kinds of different reptilians and DNA. But yeah, they were geckos. Yeah, geckos. That's what I'm thinking of. My goodness.
This guy gave a good idea in the chat, an irradiated narwhal.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Anything with like a blade would be crazy. Like a bladed head. And they could be so cool. I think they should have like an animation where it just jabs into you. Think about like the fan Fallout. It'd be hard for an MMO game to do that. That's the whole thing behind it, but
I wonder what, like, if there were to be like an underwater area, what would the underwater weapons be? Because I
the
feel like
sword.
there's some that like would work.
Well, I was talking earlier, like you could imagine you could put like a like wrap or something around your chainsaw, like your engine, and you could still use it underwater, like waterproof it basically. Like there should be like waterproof mods.
mod.
Yeah, something like that. And then harp spear guns are already in the game. You could have, I think spear guns should be a great like benefit to it.
Wait, are they adding a new star in the new update?
A new star.
Like a fourth
Oh,
star?
I think they are adding fourth legendary. Yeah.
What if for the underwater one they had a fifth star, and that fifth star could be like underwater mods, like legendary mods?
Yeah, that would be sick. And eels. I didn't even think about eels. Oh my gosh, eels would be OP. Be overpowered.
Eels.
Yeah, radiated electric eels. And if they say like, oh well, those aren't in the game, blah blah blah, they could be like, oh yeah, well, look at this. There's this random enclave base here, and they were experimenting on them. Like you can add anything you want. Like, I think that would be a sick thing for sure. To add.
Rated creatures.
Yeah, there's so many different things. The ocean's full. Like goblin sharks. Have you seen goblin sharks? Oh, can you imagine one of them
Oh,
things radiated?
I think I have seen. Yeah,
They
it's
look disgusting. That would be scary. You encounter one of those, and the water's like mucky too. I think you could be. Imagine like I want to be able to go deep, like a deep dive into, like the enclave base should be like in the deep ocean or something, and like just like imagine real life like the Black Sea, and you can't see anything around you but little white specks, and you see like like anglerfish. I don't know how they'd be mutated because they're so deep, but like I don't know, just have them in the game. Period. Like they survived. They didn't even get mutated. They're just at the bottom or something. That would be pretty cool. And maybe the deep sea isn't like as irradiated because that would be impossible. So you could, yeah, we were talking about earlier like power armor with like mods on them that you can like like pretty much fans on your feet and your arms, and you can just like pretty much fly in the ocean, aka swim, with the power armor mods. That would be pretty sick. Um, even like I don't even know. Like imagine like jetpacks, right? Oh, are you saying something? Oh,
Oh no, I'm sorry.
oh, you're good. Seen your mic moving. Just want to make sure. uh, like jetpack, underwater jetpack. You have these huge engine things on the back of your power armor, and you just like blow water, and that's already pretty much a thing. So, but I would be, I'd have the unyielding diving armor personally. I, I have flippers on and a diving tank. I'd just be one of those guys.
I'm
No
pretty
power
sure
armor.
would the oceans even be like crazy irradiated?
I think
I
coral reefs
mean,
would be, but not the deep
yeah,
ocean.
I think so. Yeah, I don't think the deep ocean would be, and I don't think like yeah, because I mean that's like what the enclaves kind of plan was that they would be on an oil rig offshore.
Hmm.
I think the irradiated coil reef would definitely be a good idea though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hmm. Not gonna lie, guys. I'm running out of ideas. We need some ideas here. Anybody got some ideas? Like propellers, yeah. Like they'd look like propellers, yeah. Exactly. Um I don't know if
Space.
space is just that would be way later in the future.
That'd be yeah. That'd
And
be
that could
like
be
way after the show.
I don't think that should ever happen, personally.
I
I think it's
mean,
just too
the
much.
Enclave does want to go recolonize another planet, so maybe they're working at it.
It wouldn't even fall out at that point though, because there's not
Yeah, it
going to be
would be.
irradiation anywhere else.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
what if you could? What if you could go to a space station or something at least?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Like you could go to like an Enclave space station
Yeah, and you could call
as
in
like
like
part of a storyline.
a radiated beam instead of like a nuke. That'd be pretty
Oh
sick.
yeah, wait, that'd be pretty sick because that could add a whole nother plethora of bosses too.
Yeah, and I think there should be a completely nuked like environment too. Like,
Yeah, kind of like the glowing sea
yeah,
sort of thing.
exactly. The glowing sea. That's what I was trying to think of. The glowing sea was so sick,
Yeah,
like
that was such
so
a cool
dangerous, and
idea.
just they need to have something like that in 76. Because I guess the whole like dangerous spot was like the fissure site and the fissure prime, but it really wasn't that bad. They need something like that in 76. Insanely difficult. Like death claws everywhere. I understand Deathclaw Valley was like probably hundreds of years for that many death claws, but like they should have something like that in 76. Figure something out.
Where like all the death claws are like boss enemies
Yeah.
or like leader enemies, whatever they're called.
Also, yeah, why don't we have Bigfoots? What happened to Bigfoots? We had Wendigos and Grafted Monsters or whatever, but no Bigfoot.
Yeah, and we had aliens.
Yeah, I gotta remember like I'm thinking like, this seems too unrealistic, and then I remember, oh yeah, there's literal
Yeah, like, there's
aliens. I forgot.
entire alien quest
There's a
lines you're going
DLC. Yeah,
into. Yeah, the Zeta Mothership Zeta quest line will make
yeah.
you lose.
Sometimes I forget. I'm like, I'm trying to keep this as realistic as possible, and then I remember, oh yeah, we have literal aliens that beam down, and we have a DLC where we go into a mothership.
I completely forgot that there's like in the DLC there's like a samurai and like a cowboy that were alive during those periods.
Yeah, right.
That'd be something crazy.
Like a DLC where you literally go to their home planet or something. Like you get like you accidentally get on their ship and they take you to their home planet, and now you're there instead.
Imagine that being a samurai and you get abducted by aliens and then they drop you back off at your old planet and it's just completely destroyed
Yeah,
and you don't even know what by because like
you were
guns
gone.
weren't even a thing.
Yeah, like I think a time machine would be sick. Imagine they added Fallout 76, like this into the game. A time travel machine where you're able to go to Fallout 4 and still be like multiplayer, and then you could go back to the old times and whatever. I never even thought about that. Time travel would be a huge thing.
And so I'm kind of thinking like what I was saying earlier. Like I guess I wish. I mean, if they could find a workaround for time travel, they probably will. But if they did add time travel, that's what I was saying. Like you could go to those areas and like explore all these areas with other players, like you can in with like ESO. You could
Yeah.
like there would be like whole quest lines, exploration.
Yeah, it would be a lot of ideas there too. I just like to be able to go to Fallout 4 with everything I have now, like my mutations, and just kind of have that storyline because I like the storyline of Fallout 4. I think it was my favorite personally.
See,
Too many.
I'm a
There's a lot more
Fallout 3.
options.
I'm a Fallout 3 diehard fanboy.
I just
So I
it's
would
too
love to
slow
see it.
for me.
It is very slow. I will admit that. And it is a very straightforward quest line,
Yes,
too.
very, very.
But it has a special place in my heart, so I really love the game. Not to mention, Liam Neeson is your dad.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, what was the DLC in Fallout 4 that everybody hated, where you take that boat and you go to this like irradiated place, and there's this guy
Far Harbor.
that's a
Yeah.
yeah, like why they could have done
That
better
quest
with it.
line was something. I think my favorite part about it was the Children of Adam part.
What
Because
was
that was
what
something
was it?
interesting to see. In the Far Harbor DLC with the Children of Adam, where you could
Oh
like collect,
yeah,
yeah,
more
and
stuff
you
like
could get
that.
like you could get the plasma core hammer too, that unique weapon. That was cool. Where it does like 500 radiation damage or something crazy.
That sounds very familiar. I think I know what you're talking about.
Speaking on Fallout 4 too, and the DLCs, did you ever play the DLCs, Realistic?
No, I never did.
Oh,
I just
well,
watched
I,
General Sam play 'em.
there's
Long
a
time ago.
there's a weapon in Fallout 4. It's called the Eternus, and if you want to get it, you have to do this whole quest line in Nuka World, and you have to get like there's so much stuff you have to do for it, but it's like
Hmm.
an infinite Gatling laser, and I mean, doing that whole quest line just drained me from that DLC, but it's such a good weapon at the same time.
Yeah, I've
Plus
never
the
heard of
whole
that.
aspect they had where you could be a raider boss and you could get all the caps from your settlements and you could get like raider settlements.
Yeah,
That was a really cool thing
it
that
does
I
sound pretty
liked.
interesting. I need to replay it, man. I need to do the playthrough and everything again. Yeah, I should. I definitely should.
Yeah.
But anybody else want to join in? Anyone else got some ideas? We got about 20 minutes left. Love to hear everybody's thoughts.
Yes.
Um, but I definitely like the C. The C I keep focusing on. I know that was technically one of the other questions in the poll, but technically this one still works with it. So, yeah. Oh yeah, the Red Death.
Oh,
I forgot about the Red
Vault
Death.
101
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
that was the underwater one, right?
Actual experiment.
Vault 96. That was the one I was talking about where that was overrun by plants because of a
Probably.
failed escape attempt.
I
Eventually
mean, if you
froze
get
over.
lucky enough, like Nate, then probably Volt 111 with the cryogenics experiment.
Yeah.
But with a die-hard experiment, like a real rough one. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know about that one. There's a lot that are really bad.
Wait, what are you talking about?
What Volt do you think you'd be able to survive with like an actual like tough
Oh,
experiment?
the human flesh one. Yep. Yep. I'd
Yeah,
survive. I would survive.
I mean, maybe Volt 4 from the show with all the experiments on the people.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, that one
But
was yeah, that was one of the easier ones, I guess. Well, not really.
fantastic. Did you ever see the Volt 77 comic about the Puppet Man?
No,
Oh, do you want
I've
me to
not.
explain it?
Feel free. Go for it.
So it's basically so in Volt 77 they put one guy in there and they like there was tons of stuff in the vault, but there was a box of puppets. So he eventually uh talked with the puppets so much because he had nothing else to do because he was by himself that he ended up going insane and he ended up becoming like a genocidal maniac and then he left the vault and then just went crazy with like his puppets. There's like a whole comic strip about it.
Isn't that one of the serial killers or no?
Um, maybe. It didn't really say a whole lot about what he did after the vault.
Hmm.
Like a whole ton.
Yeah, who
But I
knows?
think that was a pretty
Interesting.
interesting experiment.
So I Googled the Scorched Beast, and I'm looking at the info. They were accidentally created when Enclave scientists exposed irradiated bats to biochemical experiments. Despite concerns and suggestions of destroying the creatures, Secretary Eckhart ordered further study of the creature at the Glassed Cavern. It was the old AMS mining complex, which was where you went in and you found the Brotherhood of Steel and all of them that were like dead and fighting. Pretty sure it's that place. And they wished to convince monitoring systems that were an immediate threat, raising the alert level to DEFCON 1, blah, blah, blah. They were kept in isolation. They made it to the surface at regular intervals as early as 2084. Eckhart unleashed them upon the region in 2086, 2 years later, unintentionally releasing a pestilence, yeah, that threatened to render the human race extinct on a continental scale. That was the scorched stuff, like the scorched virus and all that. Wow, that's crazy. So that was probably one of the major, like the biggest threats of all time, was the scorched
And
plague.
then all of our characters come in and
And we put some what mysterious juice in Nuka Cola, and we're good to go.
Nuka-Cola, my blood's in it.
Yeah. Excuse me. My goodness. That's why I don't drink Coke, man. It makes me burp like crazy.
What would you guys like say say the worst. Nah, I wouldn't say best faction would be like out of all of them.
I don't know. I like the Enclave.
That is that I feel like you could go very in depth with that topic, but I would probably have to go with the Brotherhood.
A lot of people do the Brotherhood.
Well, it also depends on. I guess you could also choose what section of the Brotherhood in what game too, because they
Yeah.
vary a lot. I'm a big fan of the Outcasts and like
Oh, okay, okay.
the whole like the actual ideology of the Brotherhood where they preserve technology. I think what they became in like Fallout 3 was pretty. I don't know. They definitely strayed away pretty far. But also the Outcast power armor is perfect.
Or the Children of Adam. Craziness.
It's an interesting faction for sure.
Yeah. I want. It's confusing how they weren't as irradiated. Like they weren't like. It was always regular people. Was it a newer faction? They must have been like a newer found cult.
I mean, I have no idea. I'm gonna actually look that up real quick.
Yeah, because they weren't around until Fallout 4. Or
When
wait,
was
yeah, they weren't. They weren't in New Vegas.
they were kind of a cult in Fallout 3 in Megaton. They had a little thing of
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
formed Fallout.
Hmm.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Where it was right somewhere here. Oh, they actually originated like in Megaton.
It's probably why they are immune to radiation, kind of.
Yeah.
They can't be immune because they aren't ghouls and they weren't altered in any way. But why were they so? Did they just have Radaway like constantly coursing through their veins? I don't know. I don't know.
Faint harder.
Hmm. I have to read more into that. That should be a later topic for sure. For sure.
Hmm. In 2278, an offshoot church called the Apostles of the Eternal Light made themselves known by distributing holy water and posting pamphlets in nearby Megaton. When they were led by a chemist calling herself Mother Curie III and resided in a small bunker in Springvale. She had been a member of Cromwell's congregation until the day she experienced a vision while attending a sermon. She believed she was contacted by a divine messenger called the Prophet of Adam, who spoke against the gospel of division. This compelled her to leave the church with her son and pursue her own path to the light.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, it was run by
Yes,
a woman. I do remember reading that part. What can't you like actually find that person?
I'm pretty sure. Or you can at least read up about them.
Sounds so familiar.
But yeah, so they're pretty new by the time of Fallout 4.
Yeah.
That makes sense why they're not so bad.
Also, rad roaches. That never made sense to me because roaches are like immune to radiation. So how did rad roaches come to be? Because technically,
Um,
I don't think roaches could ever get like them things are just like they'll
yeah, I
survive
think they.
everything.
Yeah, I think they made a quip about that in the Fallout show, didn't they? Uh,
Yeah, they
they
must have
said
been from an
that.
experiment too.
Yeah, he was like, before the war, we joked about how the like cockroaches would survive a nuclear blast.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, they definitely would. But how did they become irradiated and be only rad roaches? Yeah.
From what I see, they just they just got radiated, and then yeah, they increase in size due to atomic fallout.
Yeah, very interesting.
Interesting.
I guess some things just don't make sense. I mean, a lot of things, you know, they have a storyline behind them, and then the other things they just kind of like think it's a cool idea and make it to begin with. So
Did you know that the dad in Fallout 3 was originally meant to be a super mutant?
how would
That
that
was the
work?
concept. Yeah. Well, I don't even know. But their concept art was him as a super mutant. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
But who
Like
knows?
here, I'll send you this image so you can take a look at it
Yeah, go for it.
whenever you feel. But this was the concept art for the dad in Fallout 3.
So how long was Vault-Tec around for? Vault-Tec was before, of course, before Fallout. So when exactly did they come to be?
I'm not actually sure. I think it was like 20 years before the war or something like that.
Right. Because isn't that who controlled everything? Like, at least with the vaults and the
Ooh, they
experiments,
were
and
actually
they wanted to make like a new human, like race kind of thing. They wanted a perfect race was like their whole thing.
so Voltec was actually a thing before they even started making volts for the government.
Mm-hmm.
They made Voltec University in 2031, and then they started making volts by the government in the 2050s.
And it must have been like they must have been like a group of people from all over the world because I know they're the ones that dropped the nukes and everything. So how did they drop the nukes in the other countries too? So there must have been like a table of people, and they were just like, "All right, it's time, guys." Like, and I know in the show wasn't like he was part of them. He was part of the, which is pretty cool. We never got to see that kind of like past uh story much in like you know the game. So the show having that and like showing the government and Voltec a lot, I think that was a huge thing, and I think they should add that
Especially
more into the games. That would be pretty
especially
cool.
them showing Mr. House. That was a shocker for me.
Yeah. Well, didn't Fallout 4 have like they had like the flashbacks to the past and all that, but not
Um,
much.
yeah, like the beginning cutscene and the like the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah,
I wish they would
that'd
do
be pretty
more
cool.
like cinematics like that in the games,
Right? Right.
because they don't show that stuff enough. Like that was like really cool at the time in 2015 when the game came out. That was very different to see, like seeing the pre-war for the first time,
Yeah.
like properly. That was
Well, the Ghoul having a complete storyline was pretty unique. Like,
yeah.
we don't get that often. Usually it's like after the nukes dropped. Like the Master and like you got like people were talking about earlier. Like his story like his started from the beginning for sure. And like Fallout 2.
Yeah, the master was an
Yeah.
amalgamation
Yeah, that was crazy.
for sure.
I think we'd have some more stuff like that. Would be cool. I am hoping with the 76 and especially this new update they have more in-depth story for sure to keep
Yeah,
other
I hope
people.
they need to add more like main quest line. I feel like because you can wrap up all the main quest line if you just like knock them out. You can get like most of them done in like a week or two.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I could well they'll probably be done in like 3 days. It's probably a 3-day long thing, but at least we have events to grind. I forget how many new events there is. 3 or 4. I think there's 3.
don't know too much of what they're adding in the new update.
Yeah, I haven't looked much either, but I accidentally did. So
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid some spoilers.
yeah, same here, man. I want to be able to uncover everything with you guys. But I was just trying to figure out what time it was, so I could kind of plan for a stream. But no time. It just says the 12th, which is what they released with the Xbox Showcase stuff. But it's sooner than I thought it would be. I think I'm actually excited. Super excited.
It's normally around 10 p.m. EST.
No way. It would probably be 10 p.m. like Monday then or Tuesday. There's no way it's like 10 p.m. Wednesday. That would be ridiculous.
That'd be very late.
That would not work out with my schedule and my plans to reschedule a day of work so I can make it.
Oh, and this brings up, well, speaking on the show as well, do you think that any of the protagonists from any of the other games are going to show up in the show? Like, specifically Nate or Nora? Because, like, canonically, Nate and Nora, like, they have backgrounds, they have a story, they have, like, faces, names, and if they make, like, a specific ending canon, do you think that one of those, like, protagonist is going to show up in the show?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I know the Enclave General might. People like that, but um, not sure. Not sure. It's hard to see because I feel like it's very like it's in California, right? So it's pretty dang far away from all the other ones. I think it's a pretty
Yeah, that's
long walk.
fair.
So
I mean,
I don't know. I think it has this whole different story. And then they were like everyone was referencing dog meat, but I'm like that's not. There's no way that's dog meat. That's just a different
I mean,
because they have
yeah,
so
there's
many
a
Enclave
dog meat
dogs.
in
Yeah,
the music game.
yeah,
Yeah, like the dog meat in Fallout 3 isn't even a German Shepherd.
yeah.
Like it's not even the same breed.
No, not at all.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on like what if they're gonna canonize an ending. Because I guess if the Brotherhood ending is canon, you would be like Nate or Nora would be a high-ranking like officer in the Brotherhood. So maybe they would have come to California on the Pridwin, but I mean, it's really up to the show writers at
What
that
was
point.
Elder Maxon in the Fallout show?
I think people are speculating he might be, but no one knows for sure.
Yeah, because who are these guys? Like,
Where does the show take place again?
9 years after Fallout 4.
Oh,
yeah, so the later fusion because cold fusion was never like we never knew anything about that until now. So it's definitely the future.
Yeah, I mean, really don't know. I mean, it'd be really cool for Elder Maxon to show up.
Oh, for sure. Like or even the God, who was the guy in New Vegas, the general guy with the
Oh, I don't remember his name.
oh
The
my gosh.
asshole.
Yeah, the super powerful guy. It's very difficult to beat him. Ah, what is his name?
I can't remember.
He's Enclave, right? Wasn't he? No, he was in NC. No, not NCR. Oh my
I know who you're
gosh,
talking about. I just don't remember his name.
we got to do a Fallout New Vegas playthrough again, guys. I'm downloading
You
it
know what
right
you
now.
should do? You should you could
Was
well
it
if you want to
Frank?
go
Was
through.
his name Frank?
Was it Frank?
Augustus. His name was Augustus.
August.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy was. I'd love to see something like that in the newer ones. Yeah, Augustus. That's right.
Augustus Autumn.
Yeah, that's people like that. Cool. I think we should have some cool like human bosses too, and like super mutants. Why don't we have any? We should get more in depth with the super mutants because I know it's like early, but 76 would be
Yeah,
cool having something like that.
I mean, we've had what? We've had Fox. We've had the. I don't. I keep brain farting on his name. The guy from Fallout 4. We have what's his face from like Fallout 2, or was it Fallout 1? One of those. But like we have like all these intelligent super mutants.
Yeah,
Like it would be so cool for them to do a boss fight with it.
right. Yeah, I mean that would be pretty sick. I'd love to see more of that for sure. More human bosses, stuff like that. But I like cool graphic things, so I like the Scorch Beast. That was definitely my. I think the Scorch Beast is like one of my all-time favorite, um, like monster concepts of all the Fallout's. It's very unique,
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
super irradiated bat. Never really seen that before in
Yeah,
any other game.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Any type of flying. I don't think a flying monster like a Scorched Beast in Fallout 4 would be broken. Like you would never. That thing is insane. It has so much health. Like if you had that in Fallout 4, it'd be like the Liberty Prime, pretty much. You wouldn't be able to kill one
Yeah.
based on the
Talking about
stats.
Liberty Prime, you think we'd see him in the show?
What's that?
Like Liberty Prime, if everyone from the Brotherhood of Steel shows up, you think you'd see Liberty Prime?
I don't know. I think he's 100 years later, kind of thing. Or I guess maybe in in the show maybe. I don't know. Where is Liberty Prime?
Possibly, but they'd have to like carry him in. Because
They'd have
he'd
to.
come in with the Cridwin.
Yeah.
They'd have to like haul him.
Hey,
Like
where is he? Yeah, we haven't heard anything about him. Maybe he was dismantled or something. I don't know. Because it's 9 years later.
I don't think we heard anything about him after Fallout 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
he might still be. I'm assuming they're still using him in like in the Fallout 4 world.
In
Like
Boston.
yeah, in Boston.
Yeah, it is pretty far away. But is there multiple Liberty Primes or was there only one?
There was only one. He got
Really?
destroyed in the Fallout 3 Broken Steel DLC. And they
Gotcha.
rebuilt him.
Well, guys, it is about time to wrap it up. But if anybody else has anything they want to say, feel free. If anybody wants to tune in for a few, has any input,
Well, thank you so much for having me on here.
yeah, no, I appreciate you being here. You were definitely made this a possible thing for sure.
Sorry
And
that my topics were all over the place. And
no, that's the point. I don't mind the topics being all over the place, guys. There's nothing wrong with that. But like when it comes, like you were mentioning earlier about someone was mentioning what they should change with the faults and everything. That one's a little too much for sure. But that's definitely something I'm going to add to the questions. I'll be posting a poll at the end of this, so make sure to vote. We only had 30 people vote on it. I would think we would have had a little more than that, but it's all right. We'll get there. We'll get there.
well, thank you for having me on here. Can't wait to do this next Sunday. I'll probably be
Next
traveling
Sunday.
if I'm not busy.
Yeah, that sounds great. Hopefully we can get some more people in here, more conversations going. Yeah, I'm not sure how to end this, to be honest.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah,
Hit
this will
that
be
follow button.
to anybody watching on YouTube, Twitch or TikTok. There will be a video uploaded. This vlog will be uploaded to YouTube, so you'll be able to check it out on there. Make sure to join the Discord, guys. Vote on the next question, poll, get involved. I'd love to get you guys in here. I'd love to do like a sub only thing, but the only reason I do the sub only stuff is to try and stop trolls and potential stuff like that from happening. But I really wish I could get all of you guys in here if I could. But for now, I think this worked out pretty great. Yeah, next questions are probably going to be like what we should change or add to Fallout. I'm trying to think what the other questions was. Weapons. I would love to talk more about weapons because that's always a cool concept. I'm not sure if anybody has seen, but there is new weapons in 76. I have not looked at them. But there is some new weapons that I'm excited to see. And talking more about the best Fallout stuff like that. I might add that poll question again. That'll be pretty interesting. But yeah, anybody that's still going to be around, I am going to end the stream and most likely play some video games. I'll let you guys know. Most likely just do 76 daily stuff like that. But I am going to end the stream and reset everything because all my stuff's different. If you guys have any ideas on what I could add to the background, this is a green screen hung up on my ceiling with clips. I just bought this at like Walmart. It was like $10. Had little letters with it, emojis and stuff too, but that's what I got for now. I was gonna do at 9 p.m. to 11, but I ran out of I ran out of letters. That's because there was too many T's. So, and I didn't have a slash or anything. So, and I also ran out of P's. You only get 2 P's, like 2 of each letter with the thing that I bought. So, yeah, if you guys have any ideas for background, I'd love to hear them. Stuff like that. But I appreciate you guys, man. I'll see you guys next Sunday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Make sure to join the Discord, guys. Everybody join the Discord if you want to be more involved with us and vote on the poll. Make sure to do so. And I will most likely see you guys in a few. I'll let you know. Yeah, have a great night, guys. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Everyone have a great week. It is Sunday, so you know how that goes. Sunday fun day. It's the beginning of the week, one day before Monday. So, yeah, have a good night, guys. See you later.